I think social media is a fantastic tool for companies, especially SMEs who haven't got the funds, the marketing teams to go out there and push in the traditional methods. So it's a tool that can really be used to connect with your customers, with your clients, and build this rapport of trust between you and them. But it's very important, it's not abused, it's not run in a very noisy way where people are talking too much on social media. They may be saying things that could be considered inappropriate and breaking that trust. So it's about showing the older technical generation, if you will, that these tools are valid, and if you give people access to it with the right guidelines, it can be trusted and it is very, very valid.
Being an English graduate, I didn't really know very much about the creative industries, but I saw a job come up at the Atrium on the Go Wales website, and they were looking for somebody who could do social media, and I thought, well, I can do that. I do it professionally and I do it personally as well, so I thought, well, great, I'll give it a try. So I went along to the interview, and they were looking for someone who could kind of connect with people, business people and kind of stakeholders that they don't normally reach out to, and build those relationships from a sort of business, creative industries perspective. So I started that Twitter feed and started talking to people and building a network from kind of that perspective. When I tweet for Creatrium, it's a very different kind of voice to the one that I use for my personal account, and it's not in the terms of the language that I use or the things that I say, but it's just kind of the style and the level of professionalism really that I use when I'm sort of speaking to people on there. And it's not like I wouldn't give somebody a personal reply or private message with people. It's just a question of remembering who you're representing when you're talking to them. So you're representing the organisation, and that's going to always be traced back. So even if you kind of make a mistake, people can still go back and they can still find that message. So you can delete it, but as Dr. Gillian McKeith has proved, that people can still go back in time and find the things that you've said. So you do have to be careful, but it's more about kind of a mindset between the two accounts. So I wouldn't recommend having both Twitter accounts open at the same time, because there's always just the off chance that you might kind of go for the wrong one. But I think in terms of the things that you're saying, it's good practice anyway, from a personal capacity or a professional capacity, just to only say the things that you'd be willing to defend if you met that person in person, if that makes sense.
I think the first thing to recognise that it's not a channel you can control. This is the democratic regime here, effectively, and the voice is being put out to your customers and your consumers, your peers, your competitors even. So I think it's firstly important to recognise that it's not a channel anyone has ownership on. The second thing as well, which is very important, is to recognise that it's very immediate. You can get messages out there very quickly, you can respond to those messages very quickly, and I think we're seeing a lot of that in terms of how politicians use it, how the press use it, how the media use it, how celebrities use it. So that's very important. And I think we also need to recognise that how you manage what content you put on there has to be different from how you use conventional PR or how you use conventional press releases or advertising even. It's no longer about interruption advertising. It's now about people look to references, they're looking for case studies or testimonies or advocacy from other social media users. So we're kind of seeing how the whole advertising model and business development model is changing.
Graduates or young people who are coming into maybe journalism, marketing or PR may already be familiar with social networking and much more familiar than maybe people who've been in the profession for a long time. But it's not unreasonable to ask your employer for a really clear set of guidelines about how little or how much you can say to cover your own back. It's a position of some responsibility really to promoting any brand or organisation on the internet, and you need to know what you can and can't say.